Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I don't know if this is going to be counterproductive because I've been struggling with the flu cold-like symptoms, and so I don't know if that's a really good combination to draw and constantly be clearing your throat. But I wanted to draw after the next couple days off, and it always seems like when I am, if I have some time off, I get sick. So I don't quite understand that phenomenon, but it happens. But I haven't done this in a while where I am just, sketching directly with my inks and trying not to have any, preconceived thoughts. And not that anything's wrong with that. It just helps me to, and my personality, to just to be more free in my drawing. So if you hear my boys in the background, that's it's gonna happen because this is what time is it? It's 10 to 8, and so like I think I've said in previous episodes, doing late midnight content, that's just not sustainable. So I think if you're young and single and you're able to do that, then totally go for it. Really, that's the time to do it. So but time is a big thing. Like right now I'm doing this, and I'm not distracted because I'm doing this, but I'm also listening to a podcast as well, on YouTube. And so I have to do a lot of multitasking. I think even if I was able to do this full time, I would still, that's just part of my nature to multitask, and I probably will still do it, maybe not to the extent that I do now. There are times where I'm watching a golf game, and thankfully, praise be to Yahweh, where I've had the means to have a smartphone and an iPad, and so I'm able to navigate watching two different shows or games. So there are times when if it just so happens where the scheduling, where there's a golf tournament that I'm particularly interested in. Like last week, it was the Players Championship at Sawgrass, and so and I was like, oh yeah, I want to, it's a very challenging course. The Island Green par 3, that's a huge spectacle. And but anyway, so that match, and I don't remember it was a Saturday. So that match was going on, but then also there was the Premier Football League match on, and the team that I follow, Liverpool, they were playing, and who were they playing? Was it Bournemouth? I'm not sure, but they were playing a team that they should have been able to beat, and they end up losing. It was like 1-0, and so I was like, okay, great, but that's besides the point. But multitasking, so I was watching golf game, and it was fairly early because they had like a weather delay on Friday, and so they were making up the remainder of the second round from Friday, and then the third round, obviously Saturday, and so it was a lot of just golfing content to watch, which is really really cool and exciting. I mean, for me, I know there's some folks that say golf is boring, and I could, I'm objective. I can definitely see why. But so anyway, so all that go into multitasking. So I was watching both programs at the same time, and I was catching up on my gaming. So I don't even remember what game. Was it FIFA? I think it was. I was setting up settings or FIFA or State of Decay 2. I'm not sure. It was some game. So I was like, no, three things, three things at the same time, all because of my lack of time. So I don't think I'm ever just doing one thing, unless it's really late at night and I'm watching a movie or a TV show, and I just want to have undivided attention. I want to give undivided attention to that show or movie. So I'm making this trunk a little too thin. Let me spread this out a little bit, give this some more character. The trunk was getting bigger than the base, so a little editorial thing right here. Yeah, at this point now I'm just reeling, which I sometimes, honestly, for those aspiring artists, whatever medium it is, if it's airbrushing, comics, penciling, color pencil, painting, watercolor, acrylic, oil, just whatever it is. Sometimes this exercise I find to be very therapeutic, where I'm really not thinking of the next thing. And sometimes organically it will happen where I'm like, oh, okay, I can add this. But in the beginning, I'm just, in this case, pen to paper. So, and the more I actually relax and let go, the freer the creative process becomes for me. So I find that to be helpful, and my hands, although I'm doing like little jabs, but my hand motion is free. I'm not thinking of how it should look or perspective. It's just very all organic, and so that so just doing stuff like this, I think, really helps that flow state of creativity. Because most of the time, as an artist, I mean, you're creating something that is, pre-designed. There's definitely an outcome that you have set up, and it could be because you are doing a commission piece, and so you're gonna have actual time frame and a topical theme of focus, and so yeah. But doing an exercise like this, I think it just helps to that freedom of thought and creation flow, workflow. So I always gotta add my little cattails and weed, which is sort of my trademark type thing. I don't even know if it's a trademark. It's just what I like to do. So what we are 10 minutes in. Excuse me. And I didn't specify what this video is all about. Well, yeah, it's just my freestanding videos, life and drawing podcast. I believe this should be episode 54. I did go into my YouTube analysis file account, and I think the most recent one said 53, so this should be 54. If not, I'll correct it in the edit below. So so this episode, it's not, I don't really have any so you can tell, I don't know how effective podcast is going to be. There's not a designed, predisposed topic. But yeah, this is about, I thought, I needed to create a video, but I'm sick. What can I reasonably talk about? And then, being sick. Being sick and tired of being sick. And so that's what it's going to be about. Being sick. Sucks. But being sick, at least for me, it always made me even more introspective. And I'm typically introspective on a bunch of things. I mean, I'm introspective on my birthday, because I'm like, okay, a year has passed, and what have I done? Have I progressed in any of my goals? Have I gotten in better shape, or have I gotten in worse shape physically? So I'm tough on myself in that regard, but being sick, and especially I'm talking, I'm not talking about any like terminal illnesses, because all of that stuff, that's a different reality of, so I don't want to be insensitive in any way, with anyone struggling with a terminal illness. So that's different. And I've never had, closest thing I've had to, I've grew up with acute bronchitis, and I've had some close calls as far as breathing difficulties and gasping for air, and having to be rushed to the emergency and put on oxygen, and really that's the closest thing as far as any illnesses I've had. But aside from that, no life changing, altering terminal illness. And so, but just even during those times, I was still introspective, in the sense of, I was just starting to think, okay, what am I doing, or what can I do better? Everything slows down, and I find that it just gives you more time to think. And sometimes some folks are like, well, maybe you're thinking too much. You're over analyzing too much, and if there's not a healthy perspective on that, one can suffer from, what they say, paralysis, analysis, paralysis, however that saying goes. But I don't know. For me, I just found that it just helped me to reassess certain goals that I've had in mind, and to take inventory of what I've been doing or not doing. And so, and then on a I guess a more vain aspect, particularly if I'm really sick like this. This is just like a scratchy throat, sore throat, head, like just sort of like head cold type stuff. Thankfully, no major body aches, but just enough to know that, hey, something's off. When you're familiar with your body, and I'm by no means someone that's a chronic workout fiend, but I do know when something's off with my body. It just doesn't feel right, and so it's unmistakable, and so so I know I'm off. And it's tough because my wife teaches, and so you have kids that come, and it's inevitable. It's so cyclical. She catches something from one of her students, or our oldest boy catches something from one of his classmates, and then it's just whether it's from school or Sunday school. It's it's like this endless cycle. And we all take vitamins to some degree. Of variant degrees in the mornings, because I take a multivitamin. I take what else? I take zinc. I take vitamin D, extra boost of vitamin C. And so, but I don't know. Some of those things are just not as potent as they used to be, or our systems are just more compromised, because it just doesn't seem to be as effective. And so yeah, but I don't know what's up with that. But it just just the medication just don't seem to be as potent as it used to be in the past. And so, because I remember, I don't know if any of you, this may be more of a Caribbean thing, or English Commonwealth type thing, but there was this medication called Buckley's Mixture, and its catchphrase and all of its marketing was, I haven't seen any, so I don't know if it's changed, but at that time, back in the 80s and mid 90s, it tastes awful, but it works. And that couldn't be a truer statement, because this stuff was it was kind of milky, and not like cod liver oil type milky, but it was it just had like a I'm trying to recall the Constitution, because I don't want to say thick, but it definitely had some volume to it. It wasn't just like water. What's the word? Viscosity, but it wasn't watery. For layman terms, it definitely had some volume and thickness to it, but man, did it taste. And honestly, the taste itself wasn't so much awful, like cod liver oil type stuff. Other stuff growing up that we, parents made us drink. And as much as we hated it, it was so effective. But what am I trying to say? But yeah, it was just so potent. You took 1 tablespoon of this thing, and you felt. It's weird to say fumes, but that's how it felt. It just felt like there was just fumes rushing all through your nasal cavity, And honestly, man, within 24 hours, you felt the effects, and so I don't know what they had in there. Maybe it was something more potent than it should have been. I'm not sure. I never had any side effects. The only side effect that I had was it cured my cough. Because with acute bronchitis, that was the big thing there. Just similar to what's it called, pneumonia. But is it pneumonia? No, asthma. Similar to asthma, but it's just your bronchial tubes in your lungs. It would just cause that to. I should know this, but I haven't had any. I think at the age of 17, I sort of kicked that acute bronchitis thing, because there were times when I would need to have my inhaler with me whenever there was like a random acute attack just out of nowhere. So but where was I going? But yeah, the medicine, Buckley's mixture. So I remember when I was much younger, before my teen years, that thing was so potent. And then I remember in my mid-teens, I think grade 10, I was still, occasionally having a bronchial attack. High dust areas would trigger it. And so I remember, okay, yeah, Buckley's, so I went in, got it. And man, took a spoon, and I was just like, man, there's like no reaction. I was like, it honestly felt like it was just watered down, like someone like poured half of the original mixture bottle out, and then filled the other half with water. Because there was like a subtle, remembrance, recollection of the taste, but it was just not the same at all, and definitely not as effective. I was just like, man, what is this thing? And I remember one day I went through I think like 2/3 of the bottle, and it was marginally effective, and I was like, gee, this is not good at all. This used to be my go-to whenever I had a cold. Even it wasn't even directly related to my bronchitis. If it was just flu-like symptoms or whatever, man, that Buckley's mixture just would knock out that cough, that persistent cough. Like I said, within a day, it would just be gone. And it was not the case. A few years later. so now I don't even know if it's still around. Maybe it is, but I really do question how effective it is. But, and which is sad. It just seems like the things that were immensely effective don't sustain the test of time, or if it's for profits, it's I don't know. So anyway, it's unfortunate. So where certain things end up that were really effective, but then not so much. And you can think about it even like with cars. I know I'm kind of going off topic, but usually these life and drawing podcasts, free flowing, like the artwork itself. But yeah, it's just even like with cars, where the build, and I get economics. You want to make a profit, but I think if you have a product that lasts, you have a good product, and folks will buy, and they will support and patronize your product. If it's good, they'll come, you know. And so so yeah, so sometimes I'm just like, man, just, you know, continue with the good product. I mean, it, you know, there's no reason to not, particularly if you have a good standing, you know, just continue with it. But you know, sometimes the profit margins dictate the focus, and so, and the consumer, unfortunately, suffers the most. And so, where was I going with that? Yes, sick. Being sick sucks, but there are some what's that saying? You know, it's all synonymous, you know, like with glass half full and stuff like that. Silver lining, but there's always some type of silver lining with it. Again, from my perspective, you know, and so, what is 26 minutes? I really don't have a set time, but and this has been nice, guys. I mean, thanks if you're still listening. 26 minutes in, to some sniffles and throat coughing stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. You know, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's going to help a lot, particularly with this very young channel. I think I have 12 subscribers. You know, let's see if we can get that to 25. You know, or even 100. You know, let's see if we can get it to 100. You know, yeah, that's a big goal right now. 100 subscribers, and but thanks for watching. You know, like I said, be sure to subscribe to it. And if you do like it, you know, hit the like. If you don't, you know, hit the thumbs down, and leave a comment. Particularly if you don't like it, you know, just be like, hey man, you know what? You know, your voice is kind of dry. I do have a monotone voice, so I don't know if I could change that, you know, because, you know, maybe go auto-tune, but then that won't be me, right? So, I mean, I guess I could pick up the energy level and be like, yo, hey, what's up, guys? Woo! You know, but then I can't sustain that. I think my boys heard that. I heard their pitter-patter of their feet. Maybe they're just running. So yeah, so I don't know if I can realistically do that either. I don't know why I'm like over hatching. Well, it's not technically hatching. Well, somewhat, but I guess it's not cross hatching. Cross hatching would be this. We pick a spot where you go, boom, 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 a line, and you come back over that line. And you know, and that's cross hatching, that type of cross hatching right there, which I do like a lot. I was going to say tastefully, because when it's done too much, it's fascinating for me, but then it's also, I'm like, man, that's just sometimes difficult to maintain a look at. And I'll see if I can get truly creative with my editing and insert a photo of like an entire piece that's cross-hatched. It's fascinating to see. I mean, if you go to any old comic like publications, like the comics, like the funnies, you'll be able to see some of that stuff in there. So yeah, so going back to being sick, sucks. What do you do like when you're sick? Like what's some of your remedies of getting over the illness? And you know, what's your mindset? Are you like positive, or do you become, you know, my wife can attest, you know, I become a little bit more reclusive because I'm like, I just want to stick to myself. I don't feel great. I don't want to be around anyone. You know, Again, this is from just being regular cold flu type stuff. So this is not, being bedridden or stuck in, the hospital. And, I think most folks, if they're honest, they would want some form of human contact, so, it's a sense of not being forgotten in those situations. So this is just, just regular run-of-the-mill flu, cold type stuff, So are you more reclusive? Are you more, do you become, more affectionate, like you're more handsy, not in a negative way, maybe not handsy, but you know what I mean, like you're just more affectionate in the sense of, you become more clingy in the sense of your significant other or your family members. So yeah, what do you typically revert to? You can, if you want, you can share some of those in the comment section as well. But yeah, and again, being sick, it's a part of your body fighting off a virus, and as the saying goes, you strengthen your resolve, you build up immunities and stuff like that, and so it's just, I find it seems like it comes at the most inopportune time, which I don't know if there's ever an opportune time, right? If you're sick, you're like, oh, you know what, man, I was just waiting to be sick. I'm like, man, this is like perfect timing. I just want it. Well, I guess if you're really young and you didn't want to go to school and you're like, oh, I feel sick, and I think outside of that, as we get older, there's never like, oh man, I'm sick, and it just came right at the right time. I was just praying to God for some sickness, and in the 11th hour, he answered that prayer, and bam, I had the flu and the cold, and strep throat, all at once, and I was just like, hallelujah, man. That's I don't think we're ever in that mindset of as my little one, if that picked up, I don't think we're ever thankful when we get older for being sick. And I think even when we're younger, it's cool to not go to school, but then particularly when you are legitimately sick, but then you are sick, and so you can't really even enjoy not being at school because you're sick, and you're either laying in bed or you're on a couch. And even if you're able to like watch stuff, particularly if you're just super congested, or just heavy, sore throat, a lot of body aches, then that's just not pleasant. That's just a miserable, that's just a miserable, temporary existence, and so, and indeed, my prayers go out to those who, unfortunately, even some of these temporary or seemingly non, what's the word? Just nominal illnesses. Some people actually die, and that's really saddening and horrific. And so So again, like I'm saying, I'm not commentating on those extremes. Again, so because that's just devastating. And so, okay, so moving off of sickness for now, as I begin to wrap up, I'm gonna get out my ink brush and drop in some more shadows. I believe so. I think. So this is healthy, just to. And I mean, I'm doing this because and I'm recording it for posterity, and also get my name out and work out, get traction and stuff like that. But if you're just beginning, you don't need to record your drawings, unless you want to record it for yourself. Granted, you drawing and keeping the sheets of paper, I mean, that's your physical evidence of what you've been doing. So that's really your archive right there physically. But if for some reason you want to examine, okay, how did I get to this point? What kind of strokes were I making? Then all power to you. That's certain sports like golf. There's certain guys that they record their swings. That way they can go back and examine, and that may be a more practical example of it. And then there's some that they don't really do it. They just go and practice, and it's more of an organic feel, and they can recall exactly, okay, this is how it felt, and that's locked into their mind and their psyche, and they can just practice and not necessarily have to record their swings, but just through feel, they can determine, hey, you know what, this is what I did differently. Okay, this is what I need to do. So whatever rocks your boat and floats your boat, and whatever other saying that I am butchering right now, do that. So like I said, I'm just doing this because just want to get my name and content out. That's a strategy purpose. But if you're just beginning, just draw, man. Because trying to do this and record and edit, that's going to take away time from your drawing. And if you're just beginning, just get better, improve, and so that way when you are recording, your recording will be much better than this. But no, seriously, I mean, you can be confident in what you're creating, and honestly, and that's why I'm saying, there's no one way. If you want to record, and that way you can document, hey man, when I first started, I was just drawing, let me put a stick figure. I was just drawing stick figures, and now here I am. I'm drawing a full body anatomy, and that's going to be incredibly helpful and inspiring for someone who's starting out and believes that this is not for me, and that can be a huge inspiring source for someone who believes that, I'm wasting my time with this. Why am I doing this? I need to go into another profession, or I need to pick up another hobby. And so you can really potentially save someone's career trajectory. Now I know, maybe I'll save that for another topic. It's 39 minutes. I'll talk about the CAD computer rendering. I mean, I know that's been talked of to infinity, right? By other creators and just non-creators and pundits and all that stuff. And so basically, I think there'll always be a spot for traditional human-led art work. So you just continue with your craft. Don't give up, even though technology is advancing. Just continue to do work on your craft. See how you can actually utilize technology to either make your work more effective, your workflow, where it can possibly even improve. Because any true artist will say, we've never truly made it. We're constantly improving. I think, like in the medical field, they say they're practicing medicine because they're constantly growing. The field evolves. Just illnesses themselves evolve to a certain degree. Every patient is different, and the symptoms differ, and so it's an ongoing learning, evolving process. So it's never like, boom, I'm here and I've arrived. Particularly in the art field, and honestly any field. If you want to progress, even if you're a mechanic, you can still learn how to work on gas motor vehicles. Then now it's electric motor vehicles, and then it's whether it's direct injection or combustion, whatever. Then it's okay, this is a four-wheel vehicle, this is a two-wheel drive, front engine, rear wheel drive, all these different aspects, and then tools. Okay, this tool works. Okay, can I use this tool, this brand of tool? So I think every profession, there's different ways to improve upon, and it's just healthy to never become stagnant and not seek out areas that you can grow in. And so, because I think the minute we do that, then we stop growing, and once you stop growing, you begin to recede. And so it's important to just look at ways to extend your reach and your development in everything that you do, so that way you're constantly growing. And even if it's incremental, just take those incremental steps. We as adults were all kids. We all had to crawl. I mean, some of us were more dynamic and advanced. We walked earlier, but it all started with a crawl. We all crawled before we started to walk. Some of us didn't crawl much, maybe scooted on our butts, but no one baby came out of the womb and was running right out the womb, at least not yet. So it'll take time, it'll take certain steps, and just don't cheat yourself, and just utilize those steps, take advantage of those, and stay encouraged, even when sickness arise, and you're like, I'm sick, I don't want to do anything. No, just find something to do that's not going to be strenuous. And so, like for me, I can do this. Can I go out and do some weight training? Probably, but I've learned it's just not worth whatever benefit I think I'm going to get, because, and being 41 now, that's even more so the case. Being 15, 17, and just being dog sick. You know what? We say dog sick all the time. We never say cat sick. We're like, hey, I'm dog sick. Sick as a dog. And I'm not a big dog fan. I'm more of a cat fan. But I'm just like, you know what? I don't know if that's really fair to the dogs. One of the dogs are like, hey, can you just use another animal? Can you be like, sick as a goat? I don't know. Sick as a pig, or I don't know, sick as a horse. But man, you talking about tangents. I haven't even taken any medication yet. But just find something to do, because that's helpful. And particularly if you're an artist, and that's kind of my slant. I'm sure, as you can tell. Don't let, again, If it's just sickness, I want to say over-the-counter sickness, it's a different thing if you're laid up in bed, your arms, twisted, sprained, you can't really do anything like that. But if you can, keep your maintenance levels up. If it's just a light little sketch. Now this may be too much for some because this is coming up on 45 minutes, and that's understandable. But I know from personal experience, if I give myself too much lee room of, you know what, man, I'm just not feeling great. I'm not really feeling motivated. I'm not gonna draw. I just can't put pen to paper or pencil to paper. I'm just not feeling it. And honestly, sometimes you need to, and I don't want to seem like I'm contradicting myself because there's really not one way, when it comes to drawing and creating. Sometimes you do just need to step away and refresh, recharge, and then sometimes you have to. It's helpful, I should say, to push through, so that way you force yourself to be disciplined and to overcome the trappings of procrastination and really just bottom line laziness. So and the more you exercise that, the better artist you'll become, and the more you'll grow, because you will have excelled past what you thought your barrier was in your development, and that's so fun and exhilarating to see. You're like, oh man, you know what? I didn't really want to do anything. And even if it's just a sketch, you're like, but look what I've done. And a sketch could lead to different creative endeavors. You can, a sketch can lead to, man, you know what? I could put this in a scene if I want to do comics or illustration. I never thought about illustrating this way, and now I can. Hey, my boys, I'm coming soon. Hold on. So, anyway, on that note. This is episode 54, Life and Drawing Podcast. To all my sick folks out there, keep your head up, take lots of meds, drink your fluids, get your vitamin C in, and for those who are sort of more so bedridden, I pray that the Lord of healing will touch you and bring you to full recovery, so that you can resume some normalcy before you were hidden with your sickness. So, and until next time we meet, grace and peace. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Till next time.